Today, I want to give you the beginner's guide to yoga. So, this is for you. If you have never tried a yoga class, if you have never stepped foot into a yoga studio or a yoga class at your local gym or one of our live online yoga classes, I want to give you some tips to help make that experience as wonderful as possible. Because I remember the first time I walked into a yoga class, it was at the local YMCA in Norfolk, Virginia. I was a first year medical student and I was nervous. I didn't really know exactly what to expect. And luckily, I had a great experience, and I want to make sure that you have the same sort of experience. So I want to answer 3 of kind of the most commonly asked questions for folks who are just starting out may have. And these 3 questions, the first is, do I need to be flexible to practice yoga? The second question I'm going to address is, what do I need to practice yoga? I don't even have a yoga mat. So what do I need and what should I wear? And the third question is there anything I need to know about like yoga etiquette? So I'm going to cover all 3 of those questions. I'll try to keep it brief in this week's blog. So the first question, do I need to be flexible? The quick answer, no. The flexibility will come. I could not even touch my toes when I started practicing yoga. But it came with time, with consistent practice. So the quick answer, no. It is totally okay if you cannot touch your toes before you go to your first yoga class. It is totally okay if you've been practicing yoga for years and you still cannot touch your toes. There is this thing we say in yoga that no matter how long we've been practicing, we are always still a beginner. And just keeping that beginner's mind as we move through our practice. I made a whole separate video blog on just this, answering just this question. So I will also attach a link to that as well. But the quick answer, no, you do not need to be flexible. Go to a yoga class. The flexibility will come. I promise you will feel really good. The second question, so I don't even have a yoga mat. What do I need to get started? What should I wear? So what should you wear? Anything that is comfortable, basically. So there's all these, fancy yoga clothes. If you want to get those, that's great. That's fine. Do you need it? No. Just wear something comfortable that you can move in. And what else do you need? So for those of you who are starting out, who don't have a yoga mat, so most studios that you go to, most gyms that you go to will have yoga mats that you can borrow. If you want to get your own great starter mats, I usually recommend just going to like TJ Maxx or Marshalls or Ross and just picking up a starter yoga mat. I got my very first yoga mat from Barnes & Noble. So, and if you want to know my favorite yoga mat, so the yoga mat that I use now is a Jade, Jade, yoga mat. I absolutely love it. It is a bit more of an investment though. So if you're not quite ready to invest in a more expensive yoga mat, just go to TJ Maxx, Marshalls. They have everything you need. So that's the basic kind of bare minimum. There are also other props. Again, you go to a yoga studio, a gym, they're going to have all those props for you. There's blocks, there's cushions, there's blankets, there's bolsters. Again, you don't need to go out and get all of that. If you're joining classes with us, it's even easier. So, the ancient yogis practicing in India did not always practice on a rubber store-bought yoga mat. They practiced out in nature. They practiced in the grass, barefoot, in nature. Our classes at Shakti Vidya Yoga are all live online classes that you get to practice at home. So if you don't have a yoga mat, that's okay. You can practice at home, practice on your carpet. The yoga mat does help a bit in the sense that because of the material, if you are prone to sweating easily, it can help prevent from kind of slipping and sliding too much. But you don't need it. I practice barefoot on my carpet often, and I also have a favorite yoga mat. So it's up to you. Also, if you're practicing at home in terms of some of those other props that I mentioned, like blocks and cushions and that sort of thing, just make sure you have a couple of cushions and maybe a folded blanket with you. And that's your basics, because you can use those for anything that may require some props or a little bit extra kind of cushioning, or to help get into any sort of restorative poses that we may get into. Is there yoga etiquette? So again, yes, actually there is a bit of yoga etiquette, particularly if you're going to go to yoga classes at a studio or a gym. Some of the basics, universal, is not wearing shoes into the practice space. So most studios, most gyms will ask that you remove your shoes before entering the practice space. And most yogis will practice barefoot, although some do prefer to wear socks. And if you're going to wear socks, I recommend those socks that have grips on the bottom. So there's like yogi socks with grips on the bottom so that you don't slip and slide too much. Other yoga etiquette, let's see, those are the main things. Most all yoga classes will end with a final resting pose called Shavasana, where it's a few minutes of resting in quiet. And so if you have to leave a class early, most studios and gyms will ask that you leave before that resting pose, so that you don't disturb anyone by getting up in the middle of when everyone's resting in Shavasana. But if you are able to stay for the whole class, I definitely recommend staying for Shavasana. That is where the magic happens. That is where the magic happened for me when I first started taking yoga, of where I really was able to experience peace and bliss and space, and really relax. So I definitely recommend sticking around for that. Now, for our classes, again, since you're practicing at home, all these kind of tips about the yoga etiquette, you don't really have to worry about it because you're practicing in the comfort of your own home. And in terms of our classes, once you log on to Zoom, which is the platform that we use, everyone's already automatically on mute when you join in. So even if you're running a couple minutes late, it's no worry. Just pop on in and join us for a class. And also when you join us on class, your video is automatically on, so that the teacher can see you and interact with you and help guide you through the poses. But if you want more privacy, hey, you're practicing from home, and that is the beauty of these live online classes. You can just turn your video off. There's an option to turn your video off, so you can have complete privacy and still join us for class. So there you have it. There's some basics, your beginner's guide to yoga, answering some commonly asked questions, and how you can also relate those to our offering of live online yoga classes. So I hope to see you soon in class. Sending you so much love as always.